Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. In this episode of the Do This podcast presented by Brivity, Chad Hyams welcomes Darcie Novak, a dynamic realtor with over 20 years of experience, to discuss productivity and efficiency strategies for real estate professionals. Darcie shares insights on leveraging Brivity's tools like virtual assistants and the day-in-the-life system to enhance business operations. She emphasizes the importance of learning from failures and maintaining a healthy work-life balance. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Do This podcast, presented by Brevity.
Hey everybody, it's Do This, and I'm Chad Hyams waiting for my friend Bob Stewart, who's coming from somewhere. He was in Anaheim. Who knows? He's probably stuck in Space Mountain, knowing Bob, going around and around and around on a loop. Yeah, we're not going to wait for him. We're going to get going, and we're going to talk to a ball of energy. That's what she is, and you're going to find out why she's a ball of energy when we get into that conversation a little bit. Welcome to our Do This, Darcie Novak. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, from what I heard, Bob was leaving Disneyland kicking and screaming, so wouldn't surprise me at all if he's still there.
Yeah, I believe he snuck back in when everybody left. He stayed overnight, probably hid in the Magic Castle or something like that. He's that kind of guy. He would do that. He's in recovery mode, I'm sure. We might see him. We might not. We've had some great episodes without him. We will survive because we've got you. And you're the one that's going to bring us some great information and things that we should remember to do this to move forward. Yet, Darcie, not everybody knows you like I know you. So will you do us the favor? I don't read bios. Bob doesn't read bios. Bios are boring. Just introduce yourself to the audience. Let them know where you are, who you are, why you are, etc.
Yeah. So I've been in real estate over 20 years. Probably about 10 or 12 years ago, I started actually kind of stalking our friend Ben Kinney. Was in a coaching class that he had offered to about 20 people from across the country, and got to be really good friends with people who are now my partners in this organization that I'm blessed to be a part of. And I will tell you, being in anytime you're blessed enough to share time with Ben Kinney in a room, it will change your life. And this last weekend was no exception. It's always really great, especially for my younger people, to get to experience all that is Ben and the organization that he has built, and the people that surround him, including all those at Brivity, is always just an exceptional experience. And we're us human beings are slow learners. We learn at maybe 0.5% at a time. If on a good day, maybe we'll absorb 1% of something. Which is why we need the constant repetition, which is what Brivity does and what Ben does. There's not a conversation haven't heard Ben say 20 times, and still consider myself in preschool or kindergarten, maybe at the top of my, on a good day, I'm in kindergarten.
There you go.
But it's Brivity in itself has really been a game changer for myself. And
well, don't talk about Brivity yet. I still want to know more about you, right? You said 20 years and then you got onto all these other wonderful things.
Yeah.
Not a commercial. We're going to help people. They already know Brivity is what they should be using. We're just going to help them use it better. Where are you? How big's the team? How many units are you guys doing? What's going on in your real estate world?
Yeah, so I think we sold about 140 units last year. I think my record was 190, which is interesting because we actually made more money last year at 140 units than we did when I was at 190, which tells you that, the systems and models of becoming more profitable really work.
Yep.
Our team we're in 2 separate locations in northern Minnesota. We serve Duluth, Minnesota, and then also an area called the Iron Range. And now we've branched out also into northwestern Wisconsin, which is exciting to us. Right now, we're about a dozen team members, plus we have a huge admin staff, a lot of Brivity VAs, who actually went in November over to the Philippines to meet them and their families, because some of them have been with me, one for over 8 years. And so, I love what I do. And, there was a time before I partnered with Ben's organization when I was one of probably 1,000 people that have called him through the years and said, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to quit. And, as I was sitting there in the audience watching Bob on stage of this last year, it occurred to me that, holy crap, like Brivity has made this business fun for me again. like it gamifies it in a way that is easy to navigate and really gives you clarity on your business. And I could not be more blessed. I get to wake up every single day and do what I really love, which is helping people. So
Love it.
yeah.
Love it.
And
You mentioned,
that's why I'm here.
there you go.
Hopefully
All right.
I can help somebody today.
You will, because you mentioned a few things in there. I'm going to jump into, we mentioned some things in our brief 4-second pre-session before we got going here. One of the things you mentioned there, I heard Brivity VAs. Talk to me about the Brivity VA, and everybody that's using Brivity should probably do this, which is get a Brivity VA. How have they shown up and helped you? What's the difference made by not just a VA, a Brivity approved and certified VA?
Huge game changer. If you want to leverage and grow in this business, you literally cannot grow in real estate without understanding the tool of leverage. And that leverage can come in different forms. It can be systems, it can be models, it can be people. One of the benefits about having a Brivity VA is they've already gone through the processes. They usually already have some transactional or listing experience. They're already familiar with the systems in Brivity. The auto plans, things like that. So you save a tremendous amount of time on having to, stop and retrain everything because they already got the basis going. So all you really have to do is familiarize them with your own team. They are people pleasers to the nth degree. They really do not like to disappoint people. And that's probably been our hardest hurdle, is to help them remember that they get to be human. A lot of these people come from companies where they're not allowed to be sick. They don't get maternity leave. They haven't been treated. Are treated more like numbers than actual human beings, which is part of why I went over there, so I could squeeze them in person and let them know, like, yes, you are a human. I am a human, and we're on this journey together. And so it's really been a profound blessing, because I promise you that if there's an error made, it is never intentional. If anything, we have to, try to make sure that they're getting out of there when they're supposed to be out of there, because they're all overachievers. So
what's the number one task that a Brivity, any of them or all of them, since you have more than one, what is a task that a Brivity VA has taken from you, whether they took it or you gave it to them, that has made the biggest difference because they were there?
Well, a big one I just did this morning. So half of my team is still gone from the production contest. And so I knew we were going to be boggled with new leads this morning. So sure enough, I log in, there's like 30 some new leads this morning. And so the first thing I did is hop on those. And so what the Brivity VAs do before we start in the morning is they're researching for missing information that we're having from those profiles. So if somebody's missing a phone number or an email or an address or whatever, they're looking up that information for us so that we have a more well-rounded picture, and we can start multifaceting, touching them right away. So out of the gate for our 10 days of love, we call it. Sorry, there's no pain in my world. There's only love. We have, here we are, postcards that go out immediately. I usually start my morning with pre-writing a whole bunch of them so I can whip out, 20 or 30 while I'm dialing. And then I'm also sending them an email, and we're texting, and a lot of this stuff is automated, but I do try to personalize it as well so that they know it's a real person on the other side. So.
Yeah, what I'm hearing from you is that the VA is up before you are because of the time difference where they are, and they're researching those leads. So you have the phone numbers, or you have some more information. You have the email to follow up with if you didn't get it, or phone number to call if you didn't get it. That they're doing that research, which makes it that much easier for you when you connect with the lead. You're not wasting the time looking for it. You don't even have to have the harder question of attempting to get the information from people. And you're not wasting leads that didn't give you phone numbers because someone's done the work to find it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
In addition to that, they're also handling all of our transaction management. They prep all of our listing docs. They are getting everything We're in 3 different MLSs. There's about 3,000 input fields. And so they're getting all of that rocking and ready to go. They're even good enough that they've learned to read my crappy handwriting and be able to decipher a lot of the notes in there. And so all of that saves us time and energy so that we can focus on our belly to belly activities and the conversations that are actually going to generate us an income.
Yeah, folks, this is why AI will not take your job. Right? Your job is belly to belly, and the AI is never going to get to the point where they initiate things. They're never going to get to the point where they belly to belly. They're going to get always to the point of answering a simple question that's provided to them. Real estate agents are the ones that create the relationship, and relationships are what help people have confidence when it comes to buying or selling. Yes, they'll go to AI to ask a question after they've met you, like, what did they mean when they said this? Or what do I need to know and think the AI knows better than you? Yet your relationship is key. And AI and VAs, wow, what it can do to help you focus on the things that matter most. Okay. Another thing we were talking about before, and I want to bring this up because it's powerful. You were telling me that you had just come back from 4 weeks worth of vacation over the last 5 weeks. Did I hear that correctly?
That is correct. Yeah, I was in Peru off grid with 0 cell service for 3 years. And then I came back for a week, and then I was off to California for our place production event, and then also to celebrate my birthday. I used to live out there, so I wanted to visit some old friends. And we have set up in our auto plan. If anybody needs tips on this, you can email me, Darcy@biglifeteam.com. Happy to share. But we actually have an auto plan that is set up for our agents so that if they do go on vacation, because we treasure and honor our family time, it is why we do what we do. And so we have an auto plan in set where we can, and Brivity has made this all possible, right? I have an admin that can check my emails for me, make sure everything important is getting addressed right away. They can also check my text messages. So if anybody's trying to get a hold of me, that they can have another agent follow up with them right away. So
hang on. Let me jump in right there. Keep your thought where you want to go. Folks, sure. You can have a different number in Brivity so that you're giving that to all of your clients so that they're texting you, so that Brivity is keeping all of the text and the chat conversations that you have going on. And then you can keep your normal cell phone for when you're on vacation and you want to actually talk to your friends, things like that. You don't have to answer the Brivity number. So understand, saying that you're setting that, you don't want to set that up because someone doesn't need access to that text thread that you and your girlfriends have and the things you say in there. That's not what's happening. You get a number with Brivity in the system, or you can get a number that then everything texts there for work. So it goes in the system, and now your VA or your admin or however you're doing it can stay in those conversations and actually sound just like you because they're coming right from that number that it actually looks like you responding to the situation. Absolutely. Okay, now back to you. Keep going with some of the stuff.
If I could change one thing in the last 20 years, I would have done that 20 years ago.
Yes.
Kept my cell phone,
right? Different number for my sign than my cell phone, different, and that even a different number for business so that I could know it's a sign call. I could keep my business separate from my personal. No, most of us are running around with one phone and it's either mom or a client calling, right? You never know.
Absolutely.
If you're starting now or you're not already established in a way that you can't make that change, there's something to do. Split your phone numbers and understand your business number through a service like Brivity, and then have your personal number for your friends and family, because it can still come to your same phone, yet you'll know it's a business call coming through this time. So you can separate that. All right. So Darcy, you were away on a lot of vacation. You have auto plans set up for your people. You have VAs that can go in and act as you and filter the things that need to do. What other stuff allows you to go off grid for 3 weeks? I mean, how does a mega producer go off grid for 3 weeks and the system manages to survive?
Yeah, well, Ben always talks about that if you have to be there every day, you don't have a business, you have a job. And I've never wanted to build a job for myself. I've only wanted to build a business. And so it's always a really great way for me to test our systems and models and our people too, to see if they're actually working to the extent that we really want and need them to work, if we're growing something, scaling something, that can outlive me. And that's exactly what we're doing. I have another partner on my team who, believe it or not, takes more trips than me. And she uses this auto plan all of the time, and is able to, and she's 23 years old. And I think she's taken like 8 trips this last year with her husband. And it's like, well, she might be 25 now. Sorry. She's been with me for a while. I forget how old she is, but it works, and it works effectively, and it really helps us to be able to, there's something about when you're with your family and you're able to really honor that time to yourself and to the people that you care about. When you do go back to work, like, you are ready to hit the ground running. And what is beautiful about Brivity is, like, even coming back today, and I've been gone, this is the first day I've been able to really like get some lead gen done for a long time. Like, other than playing a few catch up things in between that week that I was gone. It's so easy to come back and just start at the top of my scorecard. I already knocked out my news and my hots for the day, which are the most time consuming ones for me to do. The rest of them, I can knock out probably 50 calls in an hour. So I'll still probably make at least 100 dials for the people that have been active on the website and the market reports today, so that by tomorrow, I'm going to feel really good. I've already hit my top 4 categories, and now I'm going to be ready to get caught up on the meat and potatoes and touch base with some of my nurtures and watches and things like that. So, and this works, you guys. Like, our pipeline is amazing. I think we have like 30 some listings coming up here soon. This is hands down going to be the best year we've ever had. And I will also have never taken more time off than I have taken so far this year. And I would not be able to do that without Brivity, without our phenomenal Brivity VA staff, and a lot of the other talent that we have to us. So
that's
I'm
awesome. That's awesome that you've got that. And you're talking about doing the day in a life plan when you're talking about the top activities that need to get done for everybody.
Absolutely. Live and die by it. Last year, we decided we were going to have 2 main focuses for our team last year. Number 1 was day in the life, day in the life, day in the life, day in the life. And number 2 is working on our nervous systems and nervous system health. And we didn't graduate, so we're continuing it again this year for our 2nd year. And so we try to, with our power-ups, with our coaching calls, with our group coaching, we are always coming back to those 2 points, And here's the weird thing, like day in the life, when I can come back from being gone, as long as I was gone, and can come back and walk into my world with 0 stress, no worries. I don't feel behind. I know I'm caught up on everything that's important to get caught up on. How good is that for a person's nervous system when you don't have to walk into a situation with a crazy amount of stress and anxiety?
Absolutely, right. Stress is the biggest killer, right? We'll find all the statistics for all the different things that are actually killing us that are out there. It all comes down to stress, right? Folks, here's a tip. You want to help your nervous system? Close your mouth and breathe. Right? Breathing through your nose is a massive heart reduction and stress relief technique. I'm not going to get into the science behind all of it, but if you can inhale deeply through your nose, inhale again through your nose, and then exhale slowly from your mouth if need be, your nervous system is going to go from here to here in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Super important. That's probably the most common thing we say on our team. Are you breathing?
There you go.
Breathing?
Now make sure they're breathing right?
That's
Breathe
right.
it right. Bring it in through the nose. You can exhale from the mouth, let all that carbon dioxide out of your system. Okay. So day in the life. And I don't think, oh my gosh, I don't know how many of these Bob and I have done now. Folks, I'm just going to save you going back and watching every recording, because 98% of the episodes that Bob and I have done for Do This, day in the life comes up, right? If you're using Brivity and you're not using the day in the life, you're using it wrong, because we're only bringing you successful top producers, and they're saying their teams, everybody they know, it's day in the life. That is the thing that makes Brivity so much more powerful than all the other CRMs that are out there, because you just have to follow its lead and let the AI of it be your assistant and line you up and say, here's who you're calling today. Don't tell me who you're calling. Follow the list. Here's the day in the life and who you need and the reason you're calling them. It is an incredibly powerful tool that nobody has denied. All right, you've talked to us about VAs. You've talked to us about the day in the life that you touched on there. You talked to us about, by setting up your Brivity correct with auto plans and having people there to help you, how powerful it can be, so you can go unplug for 3 weeks, right? And agents on your team can go take those vacations and actually be family focused on them, or friend focused if that's who you're going with, yet not being that realtor we know on vacation who's saying, I'll be right there. I'll be right there, because they're answering their phone, locked in the cabin on the cruise ship, whatever it is. Darcy, what's something else that everybody here should remember to do this, whether it's Brivity or not, that Darcy's team has built up?
Screw it up. Don't be afraid to screw it up. Somehow we have this fear around failure, and it's a proven fact. That's the best way to learn. And, if we're not failing, we're not learning. And so it's a safe, cozy place to go, but you're not moving the ball forward. So don't be afraid.
Tell us a failure. Tell us something you messed up. We'll use the nice words. Something you messed up along the way and the lesson that actually came from it. What's a mistake we can save everybody else from making?
It's a long list. Texting someone instead of putting it in the notes category. That's happened. Having the wrong conversation with the wrong people because, you're not, looking at your past conversations. And so you get derailed. Like it's all good. There are no wrong answers here, people. There's no good. There's no bad. There's just keep one foot in front of the other and keep on keeping on. And another big game changer has been with these conversations too, is the AI coaching. That has been a super, and we're going to get rolling back into that, because we were kind of, when the cat's away, the mice will play. And so we've kind of gotten off of that. So that's one of the things coming back from this last conference is like getting back in. I tell my people all the time, if you can do 2 AI calls a day and followed up with 50 leads, because your conversations are going to be different from those 2 AI calls, it will literally change your life. And all you have to do is follow the day in the life. Start at the top. It is not a menu. Don't be like, oh, my unqualifieds look terrible, I want to get that up. Absolutely, positively not. Start at the top. Call those people that are raising their hand to do business, and work your way down the list, and it will automatically take care of itself. The rest of the people you'll get to them when you have the time and energy and ability to get to them. But 2 AI calls and 50 calls a day, and learning how to better navigate your system. Everybody's got their own tools and tricks. If you talk to everybody on my team, they'll all tell you they have a different system for making their calls. Personally, I like 2 screens because I'm kind of old school, but a lot of the agents are just operating off one, and they're, doing different things. And shadowing other people really helps too. So just because I've been doing this long doesn't mean that I got it all figured out. So a lot of times when we have our shadow days in on the office, I'm letting one of the newer agents go and paying attention to what they're doing, because inevitably they're seeing things in Brivity I've never seen before. They're doing things differently that they picked up on a Brivity happy hour, or, one of the other trainings that I wasn't able to attend. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes my life so much easier. Thank you for showing that to me. So, realize you don't have it all figured out. We're all in preschool. We're all in kindergarten. We're all trying. It's not easy for any of us. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes a lot of failure. And it's also really fun. Like Brivity gamifies it, where like it's fun to get in there and touch base with people. My absolute favorite is when I get people that have never engaged with me in any way, shape, or form, and they finally answer the phone and they talk to me like they've known me for many years. And it's because that I've built up that habit of checking in on them, of 2-3 touching them. It's one touch is a waste of your time. Don't do it, please, for the love of God. Don't waste your time making 50 dials without also following it up. I don't leave a lot of voicemail messages unless it's a new client or a hot client. But outside of that, I'm constantly, dropping them a text or an email or both. To constant, because I don't know how they're communicating or where their best line of communication is. So I'm going to try to, or snail mail. I love snail mail because nobody gets it anymore. So I love handwriting postcards too.
That's a great point right there as you bring it back, folks. Everything moves forward, yet some things still work, right? People like mail when it's not a solicitation or a bill. So if you're sending them something that's bringing a smile to their face, giving them something of value that they want, now you're also getting through to them in their mailbox, and they can't filter spam out of that, right? You can't all of a sudden not get in their inbox the way you can with an email. It's going to that mailbox. Now you just had to make sure it's something that they want to look at by making it eye-catching, fun, value add. Darcy, you've added some great stuff for us today. Again, folks, Minnesota, Darcy's your girl to reach out to. Darcy, if they had a question, you gave your email earlier, give it one more time so they could shoot you a message and say, I was on that do this call and tell me more about blank.
Absolutely. It's Darcie, DARCIE at Big, BIG, Life, LIFE, Team, TEAM, BigLifeTeam.com. And happy to help. And quite often I don't have the answer, but boy, I usually know somebody who does. So happy to resource you out to people who are smarter than me. So.
There you go. There aren't too many because you're doing it well. Darcy, I love that you spelled the first name to make it clear for them. Hopefully they can figure out how to spell Big Life Team. If they can't, they've got other issues than how Brivity works at a high level for them. Folks, Bob might be back next week. Who knows? I might be wearing a shirt that's not as exciting next week. We never know. Who's our guest? Then you got to come back to find that out. Darcy, thanks for taking the time with us today. Everybody remember, go do this.